Good morning and welcome to our January 2017 customer webinar. Happy New Year to you all. Speaking of the new year, today Christine Masters, our Director of Product Development, is going to talk about some revenue resolutions that you can make to kickstart growth in 2017. Most folks only make one or two resolutions, but Christine has a whole pile of them, the overachiever. From the Content Exchange to the IQ program to tricks you didn't know you could do with Block CMS, she's got something for everyone. In the room, we also have Phil Proct, a product manager at Town News, and Cherry Wolf, marketing specialist. I'm Aaron Gillette, marketing director at Town News. The presentation will take about 30 minutes, and a Q&A will follow. At any point, you can type a question into the chat box, but we'll hold off on answering them until the end. With that, I'll hand it off to Christine.
Awesome, thank you. So just a quick overview. I have a bunch of slides that each slide has its own kind of revenue idea. So we'll be going through those, but some of the big ones are in our new Flex templates, there are ad spots that are available that we would like to tell you about, that we feel are good ad spots that you can add without kind of overdoing it on the banner ad front. We have some new programs that are really helping a lot of our customers make money and increase page views on their sites, which are the Town News IQ program and the Content Exchange program. And we also wanted to talk a little bit about something new we're doing called the Search Boost program, which helps you to digitize and monetize your print ads. So those are just a couple of the highlights out of the ideas that we're going to go over today. So quickly, just a little bit about this particular webinar. As Aaron said, you know, we were kind of talking about different things that we could do for, you know, January, and you have your New Year's resolution and all that kind of stuff that people start in January. And we just really thought that, especially as people are, you know, kind of ramping up for the new year and making their budgets and things like that, that this would be a really good time to just kind of sit down and talk about some of the different things that we've seen customers doing or new products that we have introduced that might help you make some additional money for 2017. And this might sound a little bit corny to say this, but I do think that it's a great part of being part of the Town News family is essentially we have a huge network of different media organizations from across the country, all doing different things and all being successful in different ways. And we really think that it's a good opportunity and a good strategy for Town News to try to share those ideas as wide as we can and really get you the kind of best practices for ways to make revenue on your website. We really think, you know, we've worked with a couple of customers on many of these ideas before, and we are really hoping that if you are able to implement 1, 2, 3 of these ideas, we think that you should be able to increase your revenue next year across the entire year from maybe $10,000 to $25,000. So this is like, you know, we're talking about some actual serious revenue here. Obviously that depends on the type of site you have and the type of resources you have, but we really think that we're really hoping that there's a couple of things that you will be able to do easily to help your revenue for next year. So to kind of get started, one thing that I wanted to mention quickly is that especially in the environment that we have right now, we are very sensitive to ad overload. People are very concerned about pop-up blocker or ad blockers. Google is working on pop-up ads and having, you know, different types of pop-up ads that actually cover the content might impact your SEO, is what Google has stated. So we have a lot of changing technology out there and things going on. So we are very sensitive to that in this presentation. One of the strategies that we've had when we're talking about new ad positions is that we are looking for places that are already content heavy and that could theoretically support additional ad positions without overwhelming the page. So that's kind of one of the strategy behind a lot of these new positions. I really don't want to have, you know, you have 14 ads on the page and I want to bump you up to 25. That's not what I'm looking to do. We're just looking for new positions that can bring in new opportunities. I mentioned quickly the pop-up SEO impact that Google has announced for 2017. So if you haven't looked at that yet, then definitely that's something we posted an article about it in our blog's dashboard, so please make sure to read that. And secondly, 2017 is definitely a year where if you are still doing any kind of flash ad technology, I would be looking at at how to get out of doing Flash and either doing static banners, programmatic banners, or HTML5. So you're going to see, we have a couple of initiatives internally going on with that this year, early this year, and so you're going to see a lot more about that, but all of the major browsers are essentially trying to get rid of Flash at this point. So that's definitely something where if you're still doing that, it's something you should be looking at. So to get started, I wanted to talk about this one, which I think is very interesting. We have launched in 2016 a new kind of concept in blocks, which we've talked about at a couple of webinars already. This idea of utility regions. And these are just new regions that are on specific pages that are essentially difficult to get to or impossible to get to in the normal block editor, but we've exposed these regions to you in the block editor so that you're able to place blocks, ads, content, etc. in those areas. So as we said in the past when we first introduced this concept, we have continued to add new places for utility regions, and there's a couple of new interesting ones that I wanted to mention to you. The first one here is we have the on our classified details page and our non-featured business directory pages, we now have a couple of different new utility regions where you can place either, and this is just a place where you can place a block. So you get to decide the kind of block that goes there. You can place a banner ad there if you wanted to, for example, a programmatic ad or a sponsor, or if you wanted to do promoted business directory listings, an email newsletter sign up. And if you look at this picture that we have over here, let me turn on my little zoomy thing. I love this thing. So if you have this is an email newsletter sign up promotion link. So in this case, Phil here has put a little block in this particular page that will show a promoted email newsletter sign up. So it's a great way to, again, show banner ads, show promoted listings, email newsletter signups. There's a bunch of different things. You can decide your strategy on this. I will mention that on business directory, we are specifically not showing these regions on featured business directory listings because of the potential, that's most likely a paid page, and there's a heightened opportunity for a competitor's ad or something like that showing up on that page, which we felt was not necessarily appropriate for a paid listing. So that's why those listings don't show up on the featured business directory pages. But again, that's a great place to, you probably don't have an ad in that content area right now or a promotion, and that's a great place to add that. Gallery ads, this is something that a lot of our Flex customers are starting to do this, and it's a new kind of, I would say, best practice for Flex sites. But essentially the way this works is we get a lot of really good play from paging galleries in Flex templates. Each time, and this is kind of an example of either a photo gallery or a paging gallery. In this case, it's actually paging through articles. And the cool thing about the paging gallery is that these are actually, each time a user pages through these, this is a new page view to your site, and it's the new opportunity for ads. So you can either refresh the ads that are on the outside of the page, and each new page is a new refresh of ad impressions, or what a lot of customers are doing is there's a setting where you can actually put an ad as one of the slides as you go through the presentation. So you look at, and you can choose how many content slides before you see an ad, but let's just say that essentially there's 4 content pages and then a banner ad, 4 content pages and then a banner ad. And this is just something that the front-end users would see as they go through that gallery. So, and this is a technique that's used on a lot of websites that you'll see out in the wild these days. But again, that's not something that we had available in Zen, and that's a relatively new feature. So that's something that if you are not currently doing inline either refreshed ads or inline ads in a gallery, that's definitely something to look at. I would also say, just as a side note here, that when you start monetizing these types of paging galleries and these collections, it's a really great opportunity to think of how you can do more of them. These are great winners for page views, and especially, like I said, when you start monetizing them, they're a great way to make money. So if you can think of, in your newsroom, you could have a strategy behind, how every week, what are we going to have new for a new photo gallery or a new collection of stories? And then if it's Christmas, if it's Valentine's Day coming up, you can do a gift guide. Any of those types of things make great for like a paging gallery collection. I will also mention here that if you're in the Content Exchange is a great way to pull different articles or photos together into a collection and then again monetize it. And you can put, again, on the front page, Valentine's Day, 10 great ideas to impress your loved ones at Valentine's Day or something like that. And those are things that if you don't have the resources to pull those together yourself, we have a Content Exchange where you can search specifically for Valentine's Day items and pull those into a gallery. It's a great idea. So another thing that's available with our new Flex templates are just kind of the concept of, we have ad blocks that are now available, and this is a pretty standard feature that we've had since the very beginning, and I think that everybody is kind of used to this idea now, but I just wanted to point out that because of the fact that you have these new ad blocks, you are not limited as to where you can put your ads based on how we set up your site, right? So you don't have to put them in the left rail or across the top or whatever. And I kind of have an example here on my test site where I felt it was more important to have the story mosaic as close to the top of the page as possible, but I still wanted to kind of monetize above the fold. So instead of putting a leaderboard ad across the top here, I actually have it in between the content. And I think that a lot of people, if they look at maybe their front page or their index pages, you'll kind of see zones that are content heavy that you can place an ad unit within the content without overwhelming it with ads, right? So that's something that, again, look for those types of areas and see if there's a place that you have kind of a blank spot because these two places don't kind of line up, or you have 5 content blocks in a row with a lot of stories. That might be a great opportunity for a small leaderboard size ad there. Those type of things, you can look for those opportunities, and again, without overloading the page with banners, you have an opportunity to place a new banner wherever you want, and that can be a programmatic opportunity or even a local sales opportunity. I will mention that, again, we have more than 50% of our traffic now at Town News occurs on phones. So whenever you make these type of decisions, either the first or the second thing should be what happens on mobile. So in this particular case, this is a desktop ad, so this ad would not show up on mobile, but I could place an equivalent mobile size ad there in that same position as well and have them swap out based on if it's desktop or mobile. So definitely keep mobile in mind. So here's another utility region that we've added in the last couple of months here. We've, in both classifieds, business directory, and editorial, these are really content-heavy pages that have a lot of stories listed on them. These are places where we have utility regions within the context of the search results. So you could, and in this case, we have this is a classified results page. And in the middle of the classified results page, we have a utility region, again, that we've placed a newsletter sign up opportunity, but this could be a text ad, this could be a banner ad, this could be a breakout, like a grid block showing promoted listings from classifieds, if you have featured classified listings, things like that. So again, this is just a region into which you can decide which types of blocks go there, and that could be a banner ad opportunity. And so again, that's on classifieds, business directory, and editorial search results. And you can choose to have different ones in each different application. So again, a lot of people are not monetizing or utilizing those utility regions for promoting content or ads. So that's a really great opportunity to set that up. It's very easy to do, and it's something that you could start making money tomorrow with those ideas. So a couple other things. I mentioned a little bit about this already, but kind of the idea of making an entire section out of Content Exchange or value-added content that is available for free from Town News. A couple of ideas that we've seen some of our partners doing is, we have a lot of health content. We have a lot of beer and wine, dining, pets, agriculture. This is an example from, I think, Kokomo Perspective, where they put together kind of a viral section, a lot of which comes through the content exchange. And this is just kind of the cool trending news of the day. So all of those things are, our content exchange team can help you set these up and can help guide you on what some of the good ideas are. But one thing that I think that you as a newspaper should think about, as a publisher should think about is there an advertiser in your area that is a good advertiser that is looking for more opportunities to meet a certain target group? So, for example, if your hospital in your area is a great advertiser, you might go to the hospital and say, hey, what do you think if we put together a health section and you're the sponsor for the entire section? We don't have any other ads but for you, and you can, or maybe they get a header across the top that it's sponsored by them. You can kind of come up with, you can pick the types of content that you want to put together and that you want to promote based on the advertising opportunities that you feel that you have in your area. If there's a realtor that's a great spender with you, that it's a great partner with you, if there's a restaurant or a big business that's in your area where they want to have more advertising opportunities, we have so much content now that's available for free from Town News that you really can say, like, okay, what can I do with agriculture? So I have a John Deere in this area and they might want to place an ad. Can I put something together for them that attracts a certain type of audience that is attracted to them? So there's a lot of great opportunities there, and a lot of this content can be used in print too. So if you wanted to do an equivalent print section that corresponds to the online section, that's a possibility as well, which is another great opportunity for revenue. Native advertising, we have a bunch of different initiatives right now associated to native advertising, but in this case I specifically wanted to talk about just the easiest concept, which is using our business directory for essentially promoting content from local businesses. So in this idea, and you can kind of see here a good little example that we put together. This is actually a blog article from a local business where they're promoting a new store that they have opening downtown. And this is essentially just a child article of that business. And if they're a featured business, they'll get all of this awesome business promotion stuff on the right-hand side of the article. And then what I would recommend is putting that on the front page, having a block either on the front page of the website itself, or even maybe on the business section. Have a block that promotes news from local businesses, and in those blocks, if it has a sponsored flag and it has a parent business, you're going to get a little tagline at the bottom within that front page block that says sponsored by, in this case it's called the ice cream store. So it actually promotes that on the front page of the block, that this is a sponsored article, and then when you click through to read the article, it promotes their business heavily on that page. So, I mean, this is, again, a two-step process, very easy to do if you have our business directory product, and it's a great way to make money. We actually have some publishers right now who are essentially charging to create the article also, and so we've seen maybe $300 to $600 that they could charge for those, and then you just promote them for a month or two on the front page, and that's kind of a service that you can offer to your businesses. It's also possible that they could provide, perhaps for a slightly lower price point, they could provide the article to you. You can look through it, make sure that it's up to your editorial standards, and then publish that as an article from them that goes on their page. And they're essentially using your promotion power to promote the types of ideas and concepts that they want. It doesn't necessarily have to be a quote-unquote blog specifically about their business also. You can do things like, the top 10 cosmetic surgeries that can help you past 40 or something like that. And then that's sponsored by a cosmetic surgeon in your area, and they provide to you, 10 different things that people are doing, and then strategically placed throughout the article. Also, we have a discount for $200 on this now, or something like that. So there can be those type of useful advertorial content items that mention the business in them as well, and those can be sponsored by a business also. So again, just a great opportunity there without a lot of technology involved. You just need our business directory product, and that's a great opportunity to add native advertising to your site. I will mention just very quickly that we do have a couple of initiatives surrounding native advertising. We're working with some different partners to provide kind of a backfill or programmatic native advertising, and that's a different initiative that we will talk about sometime in the future. We are in testing with that right now, and when that comes out, we'll definitely let you know. But this right here is basically the concept where you're taking an article associated to a business and promoting that content for the advertiser. Custom blocks for sponsors. The idea here is essentially in different types of industries, you're putting together a block that promotes articles or maybe ads or even events. So in this case, we have obituaries from a specific funeral home, and in this case, we have auto ads from a specific auto dealer, and in this case, it's an event that it just has like a event center sponsorship at the top. So all of these are different things where, let's say for $500, you'll put together a block specific with that advertiser's content and maybe a promotional ad at the top, and then that ad will, or that block will show up on the front page, on the sports section, or on the auto section, and it's specific to that sponsor. So again, that's just a real easy thing to put together if you think that you have an advertiser who might be interested in promoting their content in that way on the site. So some great ideas there. And we have a couple of ideas here for event centers, realtors, lawyers, auctions. There's a lot of those guys who really want to get their promote their content, and get their content out there, that you have some opportunities there. So this one, we've seen a lot of people do this over the years, but I think it's kind of an oldie but goodie that I wanted to mention. Just the idea that we have some partners who are essentially allowing a weather sponsorship within their weather widget on the page, and this is essentially on the top of every page, and they get a very small, usually it's a micro banner spot, which is a 31 by 83, I think, pixels. But you could do something kind of custom and bigger if desired. But these are just like, you're giving the opportunity for the advertiser to sponsor some type of widget content on your site. Usually it's related to that widget, like if it's a stock widget and the lending or financial advisor or something like that, then you can do something related. Or it could be just that they wanted to get their logo on the front page, and that's something that you could sell to them as well. So that's a great opportunity. Just think of the widgets that you have across the page and allow them to have a sponsorship. Again, this is it's not really overwhelming the page with a lot of additional ad spots, but it's a good place to get an advertiser in a really prime kind of real estate on your site. Programmatic ads. So this is something that is a great thing to talk about. We have a new, I guess it's a year or more now, but we have a new ad ops team that we actually work with our customers as a kind of a go-between between the ad networks and our customer, and just really help set up and manage the programmatic ad inventory for your site. I will say that kind of as an outsider to the process, it's been very interesting how much we have learned over the last couple of years in this area. There is a lot of tricks and really good things to learn that we have learned over the years, and I think that we offer a lot of expertise in this area. If you are doing programmatic ads, I would say to call us and talk to us about how we might be able to help with that. And if you're not doing programmatic ads, I would really recommend looking into that. There's a couple of important things with programmatic ads that I wanted to say. First off, if you're doing what's called share of voice, where you're essentially sharing a sponsorship rotation into a section, not based on any kind of CPM or impression tracking, that means that those advertisers always get that you as a company are not benefiting from any increase in traffic that you might get from, for example, new photo galleries or viral traffic, or if there's a big story in your area, you're not benefiting monetarily from the additional page views that you're getting to your site if you're selling a share of voice type advertising model. If you are selling by CPM and you don't have programmatic backfill, then once those advertisers, let's say you have a flash traffic event, once those CPMs are given to, you only sold 13,000 CPMs to that guy, once his 13,000 CPMs are gone, you have to have something that fills in the back, or again, you're losing money there. So programmatic ads, there's a technique where you can do it basically as a backfill opportunity, where when all of your other CPMs and when all of your other impressions are done, then backfill comes in afterwards. And again, this is a great way to make sure that you're monetizing all your page views, and if you get flash traffic or page view increases, you are benefiting monetarily from those increases. So again, that's a really easy thing to just call us and have a quick discussion, call your sales rep, have a quick discussion about the different opportunities we have there. And I think that if you're not doing those types of things, there's a good opportunity there.
Can you talk about a little bit about just what programmatic advertising is? We had a question come in about that, and I think it'd be good to talk about it right now.
Awesome, yeah. No, the idea behind programmatic is that there are ad networks out there that are essentially bidding for the traffic on your website. And we have a lot of kind of specialty programming built in with these different networks where, and I'm going to kind of explain it, and you can jump in, Teresa, at any point, but I'm going to kind of explain it in a layman's terms, that every time a page view comes up, and all of this happens in milliseconds, by the way, because I'm kind of make it sound like a long process, but every time a page view comes up, we programmatically shop that page view out to multiple ad networks. They bid on it, and again, this is instantaneously. They bid on it, and the person who has the highest bid wins, and then we give them that ad spot. And so again, the relationships that we have set up with these vendors, sometimes these vendors are not available on an individual newspaper or an individual publisher basis. Sometimes they're only for big networks that like us to provide a large amount of traffic. And then how you shop them out and the order that you shop them out in and how all of that works, there's a lot of secret sauce that's in that's difficult to learn over time, that I think that we've really started kind of perfecting how all that works. But yeah, and so again, that's the idea, is that there's a network of buyers out there who want to buy ads on your site, that we can shop this out to them on an instantaneous basis and get revenue from that.
Yeah, and they can sit behind your local ads as backfill. They can be used for 100% fill in a certain slot. So there's all kinds of combinations that you have available to you in order to take advantage of that.
Right, and some of these news positions, so let's say that you feel that you're pretty well sold out from a lot of your local advertisers, but you're really interested in some of the new ad opportunities that I'm talking about today. Make them programmatic. Add a couple new programmatic ads to your editorial page and see how it works, and you'll get to see the kind of money that you'll get from programmatic ads and the kind of traffic that comes in, and then you don't have to, have the sales effort to go and sell those new things. We can just fill those in for you. So,
just as clarification, a follow-up question is, are those ads a mix of national or local ads?
Yes.
They're pretty much they're national ads for the most part. Local, if you're not going to see a specific, you may see a local ad depending on if that advertiser has done audience extension or something of that nature. So, but most of the time they're national ads.
Yeah, and so you'll see, Geico and Auto Trader and
a lot of
Vending Tree and those types of national advertisers. Yeah. Okay, and this is a semi-related thing that we have something called the IQ program, where, and again, I'll try to explain this kind of in layman's terms, but the idea is that we have these programmatic networks that we're shopping out ad views to these different buyers. One of the things that we can do, and it's really cool technology that has only been available in the last couple of years, we actually watch the types of pages that users are going to on your site and actually on other sites. There's a whole network of this going on. And so we kind of learn the behavior of certain types of users, and we actually shop those behaviors back through that bidding process and can tell those ad networks this particular page view that I'm shopping to you is a guy who's interested in automotive vehicles right now. He's been shopping for automotive vehicles. He's looking at auto content on our site. Do you have anybody who wants to pay a higher CPM for an auto-specific targeted page? And again, what we have seen by doing that, when you provide that additional data to those ad networks, your CPMs go up for that programmatic ad. We really feel that, I think personally that doing programmatic backfill and some specific programmatic spots on your site is kind of a no-brainer, and this is the next step on is to really optimize and monetize those programmatic ads on your site and really take advantage of the type of data that you as a content provider have about the viewing habits of your users. So it's a great opportunity, and again, it's kind of hard to understand how all of the technical side of that works, and we have a whole demo that they can do and give you more information about this if you're interested. But if you haven't heard a lot about this or you haven't thought about this yet, 2017 is a great time to look into both of these two programs. Can I add anything to that, Teresa?
That's good.
Okay. Any questions?
What does CPM
I can
stand for?
see
Some
your
of this-
face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
some of these it feels appropriate to answer right in line here. So, what does CPM stand for?
Yeah.
Someone would like to know.
So essentially, CPM is the cost per 1,000 page views that you have. And this is another thing too, that if 2017 is a great time to kind of get this all together and think about it if you haven't done it already. On any individual page view, you have X number of revenue opportunities. Those revenue opportunities are all add up together to essentially what we call a revenue per page or revenue per 1,000 number. You should know your RPM, essentially your revenue per 1,000 page number. So on any individual page, you're getting about, let's say, $22 RPM on that page. This particular ad is worth $3 CPM. This particular ad is worth $10 CPM, and you add them all together, and then you have a number that you know of for your site. And then that way, that can help you do some cost benefit analysis of how you're performing, and if you get a flash traffic opportunity, how are you monetizing it? If you want to put new effort into a new section, that section should bring you in $3,000 because you have a number that you can do that. So, and again, what we're trying to do is on each individual ad opportunity, those are worth X number of dollars per 1,000 pages, and we're trying to increase the number that those ads are worth on an individual basis.
And all advertising talks CPM. I mean, RPM you'll see used by Google AdSense, but for the majority of the ad networks and just the lingo and how people look at things, it's CPM, so cost or revenue per 1,000 for that particular spot. And two, when you're doing your revenue per page, don't only look at ad revenue. You could have value-added content on there too. We have a couple programs in that, and that all adds to the value of that page as well.
And I do want to take this time to just mention very quickly that we at Town News have been working. We know that the media industry right now is really strapped for resources, and there's a lot of struggle to go out and sell ads and to get your content and get all that stuff together. So we're really working a lot on ways to easily increase revenue, and we've got a lot of programs and a lot of opportunities where we essentially have a program, you plug it onto your site, and we pay you for it. We have some sites now. We have a couple dozen sites now, I would say, that they have a X number of dollars per month that they pay for their block services, their CMS service. We pay them more than they pay us. So instead of them getting a bill every month from Town News, we write them a check. So we're trying to think of many more opportunities like that where we can work with vendors and provide advertising opportunities. You can opt into those opportunities, and we pay out those opportunities from the vendor to you. And we would love it to see a whole ton more of our customers just we'll rewrite you a check every month, which I think would be great.
And in many cases, these require no effort on the site's part. I mean,
Yeah.
You call us, we set it up for you. You call your sales rep to get set up on the IQ program or the content exchange.
Yeah,
We set it
easy
up
money,
for you. Yep.
easy money. Yeah,
Easy
so. So a couple other quick ideas here, and I know I'm getting towards the end of my time, but I'll go through this pretty quickly. So another idea for you is if you haven't done email newsletters already, email newsletters are really easy to do. We can, kind of like Erin said, we can set this up for you and it works automatically for you on a day-by-day basis. You can monetize these with banner ads, with promoted listings, classifieds, etc. I would recommend looking at different segments of email newsletters that you can offer for your area, let's say sports, events, parenting, etc. And then you can promote those on an individual section basis using utility regions for that section. So again, you can promote the event email newsletter in the event category. Search Boost, this is an awesome new thing that we've been doing with some customers the last couple of months here. The idea behind this is that you take your print ads that you have already, that you're running in print, and you send us essentially the PDFs. We convert them into a digital format. We extract out the text. We make it SEO friendly. We make it searchable. We associate it to a business directory page online, which kind of boosts the impact of the SEO. And what a lot of our customers have done is they actually make this either an upsell opportunity for their print ads, or they make it a rate increase opportunity for their print program. So essentially you add in $25, as of 2017, now we're a little late for that, but as of April 1, 2017, we are increasing all print ads by $20 because they will now be digitized and searchable online as part of this process. We have seen that, depending on the ad type and the type of advertiser and the type of content, where a lot of times, depending on, I saw one for a pierogi fest. If you searched for that pierogi fest in that town, their print ad, the digitized print ad, was the first thing you found for that pierogi fest, and they had their own website, everything for it. So there's a lot of SEO opportunity that you can help these businesses get their ads online, and then they're searchable online. They can be available in your classifieds. In this case, we actually have a bulletin block that will promote these ads maybe on the front of your classifieds page or your marketplace page. And then when you click on them, they have a really nice little pop-out that shows an in-depth look at the ad and then more information about the advertiser. So this is a really great opportunity. Again, it's an easy way to either have a print upsell opportunity or a rate increase opportunity for your site in the next year. So anything to add to that, Phil?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
I mean, I would say, just quickly, ad revenue from 2016 to 2017 shows to be increasing. So it's important for sites to explore options to help them increase that even more so. So Search Boost is an easy and quick way to help you boost your revenue for classifieds.
Right. Yeah, and then that association to the business directory obviously would require the business directory product. So that's definitely something to look into. And feel free to call your sales rep and they can kind of walk you through all of this, and you can kind of do some math on the kind of numbers that you can make in terms of revenue for that. So another quick idea, as a kind of a reminder that we have Facebook Instant Article technology built into blocks now. One idea that we've talked about with a couple of customers, I don't know if anyone's doing this yet, but sort of the idea that you have a business directory product, you have businesses that are posting news in the business directory section. You can set Facebook Instant Articles on just your business directory section if you're interested. You might not, maybe you don't want to go there yet for your news, that's fine. Just do it in the business directory blog area, and then as an offering to your advertisers, you can say, yeah, you have a business directory page. Also, you can post your content online. Also, we'll make all of your content an instant article on Facebook. And then, you can share it to your Facebook page, or they can share it to theirs, and then it becomes one of the Facebook Instant Articles where it loads instantly within the Facebook network. So it's a great opportunity there. And again, that could be just something that you offer to your advertisers through your Block CMS product. Virtual job fair. This is kind of an old idea that a lot of people have done in the past. There's special kind of companies out there that will put together this technology for you, but we can do that for you. We've got business directory. All you have to do is get your business directory product, you associate the classified employment ads to the business, And then you just create a simple, like this picture here is just a simple grid block showing the advertiser logos. When you click on the advertiser logo, it goes to their business directory page that has a list of all their employment ads on it. So it's a really easy opportunity. It's real easy to put together with the business directory product. And then, you can sell these at $500, $1,000 for sponsors on this page, and then you just promote the virtual job fair. So it's a real easy idea to pull off. And again, essentially with the business directory product, there's no additional cost to you. So it's an easy thing to put together on a couple times a year for a virtual job fair. Day parting ads, we have a scheduling system in the Blocks admin. You can have different types of page displays based on time. This is just a really quick idea, say, to put a presentation of restaurant ads, things like that on the page, and that only shows up between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. every day because you're hungry and that's when you're going to go look at those restaurants, things like that. That's just one idea. You can also day part and have the difference between a morning site, an afternoon site, and a weekend site if you want to promote different kind of content at different times. And again, because ads are blocks, you can have ads that only show up on, with prep sports content on Fridays or on the weekends, etc., or in this case at lunchtime. We talked a little bit about using the business directory for featured press releases and for news from businesses. This idea is just essentially using our upsell manager service along with our business directory to allow those businesses to promote their specific listings. So for example, let's say that you allow businesses to put in their press releases for free, which is a possibility. You can choose to do that. But then if they want it to show up on the front page, it costs $25 more or $200 more, etc. So that's just a way that you can kind of utilize those two products together to have more revenue opportunity. The very last thing, we have our sales engineers here at Town News actually have been collecting a lot of these ideas over the last, I don't know, like forever, I think. A couple of years, for a while. And so we actually have a mega version of this presentation that we can do. So if you want to get together, your sales team, your ad team, and ask us to do a specific to you webinar, we have a ton more of these ideas where we can just like whip through all these different opportunities. 2 or 3 might stick out to you as a great idea, and then you can work over the next couple months to implement those. So if you're interested in seeing that more in-depth presentation, call your sales rep and they can put that together for you. I will also mention that as part of that process, we can do what we've been calling kind of a revenue audit for your site, where essentially as part of all of these different ideas that we have that we've seen customers be successful with over time, we can help you look at your site and do an audit of you're not making use of this ad spot now. You're not implementing this program now. We think that we can get you an additional X number of dollars if you do these ideas, and then we can help you do those ideas. So if you haven't seen that presentation yet, or if you want more of these types of ideas, feel free to call your sales rep and they can arrange a personal presentation for you with those billion ideas that they have. And so lastly, I think we talked about this with Wayne. We've got new ad positions, we've got new programs, IQ and Content Exchange and Search Boost. All of those things are, and then a bunch of other ideas that I think I spit out at you that we have as revenue opportunities that would be awesome for you to take advantage of in 2017.
Yeah, we've got quite a pile of questions.
Okay, sorry.
So, no, that's all right. When you were talking about the flex banners, the banner ad positions, a question came in about can banner ads go in the left margin?
In the left margin. So I assume that's on a story.
I would assume.
So on a story page, we do have a utility region that shows up in the left column. It doesn't always exist because the left column doesn't exist on every story. But when there's a left column, there is a utility region into which you could place a banner ad. I will note that it would be a non-standard banner ad size because I can't remember the size, but it's not 200 pixels. So.
Okay. A couple of questions on documentation for stuff we've talked about today. Specifically, wondering is there documentation on the programmatic ad backfill on help.blockcms.com, or where can they go to learn more about that?
Yeah, there is some documentation available out there. Most of the time, we do that as part of a setup process because there's a kind of an evaluation of the type of ads that you're currently using and what positions you want to do, and then we help you set that up. So there is a little bit of information out there, but I don't think that there's enough information that, I mean, we have to set up a whole bunch of stuff on our side in order to implement that. Yeah.
But for Flex templates and business directory,
The
and
utility, all the utility
all of those
regions are
things
very well documented on there, so you
on
can.
help.blockcms.com.
Yep. So on help, just search for utility regions, and there's a list of all of them in there. I mean, and I will show you just really quickly here. This is the Blocks admin, and so just remember, in the Blocks admin, over on the right-hand side here, there's a list of all the utility regions, and the utility regions are different on a per-app basis. So if you go into something like classifieds, you click on that, then this will reload with the classified utility regions that are available in that section. So they're a little bit different. And again, all you would do is essentially drag and drop the blocks from the side over into the utility region, and then it populates it that way.
We have replaced our Flash ads with Adobe Animate ads. Will Town News create support documentation to place Adobe Animate ads? Do you know if Adobe Animate ads will negatively affect SEO with Google?
Adobe Animate ads, if they are HTML ads, which is, I believe, what you're talking about, those will not negatively affect SEO. We are actually working on an initiative in the first part of this year to allow customers to upload HTML5 ads directly into Ad Manager. There's already a way to do this in DFP, so if you're using DFP, there's an easy way to upload HTML5 ads there. So yes, that's exactly what you should be doing, is looking at those other opportunities, especially if you have a Flash designer. They should be, learning how to export things from Flash or from Adobe Edge into an HTML5 ad that can then be uploaded into whatever system you're using.
Aside from the IQ program, what other programs are being used to offset monthly bills and pay checks to your customers? That's
a great question. So, I mean, a really great one that has been very successful for a lot of our customers is Outbrain, and we have opportunities for both Outbrain and Tabula that are on article pages. And I'll show you here just very quickly. In the right-hand rail, on any individual section, there's a place actually here for Outbrain and Tabula, and you can choose the kind of display that you want to present for your Outbrain content. And once you turn this on, this easily shows up at the bottom of the article page. Again, you can choose to have a headline grid, a photo grid, or both. I think by default it shows both, and that's probably the primary revenue there. So if you're not doing Outbrain, I would definitely recommend that. It's very easy to turn on. You can try it on just one section to see how it works and see how it goes for you. And that's a big one that we're using. Also, Content Exchange. The way that Content Exchange works for revenue is that you get those page views from that additional content, and your ads go on those pages. So as you get additional page views, you'll get additional revenue from the ads that you place on those pages. Again, if you put programmatic ads there, that's a way to monetize that. But those are some of the biggest programs that we have that I think would be a good opportunity. We are working on, I would say, at least a couple more for next year that we're hoping to roll out. We like those kind of opportunities. That makes it easy.
This year.
For this year, 2017, right? Yeah, it's already 2017.
Can digitized print ads be related to article assets? If yes, how would that look on an article page?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, you'd have to manually make that association, but you can associate essentially the type of asset it is a classified PDF asset, and you can associate that to an ad, and it would show up essentially in the right rail with that particular story. Because of the fact that you'd have to do it manually, I wouldn't see that happening. I mean, unless it's specifically related to that article or something. You could obviously create a block and take maybe a grid block or the bulletins block, and then put that in a utility region that shows up on article pages. So, for example, if you wanted to, as part of your Search Boost program, you could say that all of our ads rotate in a block that's at the bottom of articles or on the right page of articles, and then you rotate in the different print ads to promote on those article pages. That would be very easy to do and would be very effective.
Someone notes that we've covered a lot of industry jargon that they're unfamiliar with, and they're wondering if there's a glossary of terms available. Examples are inline, block ads, and utility regions. Our documentation site is a good place to go for a lot of that stuff. I don't know if we have a glossary per se, but can you talk about what inline and block ads means? I think we've covered utility regions.
Yeah, and these are kind of block CMS specific technologies that we've used. But just to go over those three really quickly, I've talked a little bit about utility regions. Essentially, these are new, you can think of a region as like a hole into which you're placing content or ads. So a utility region is a new region or hole where you can place things. Normally, in this case, I'm dragging a block from my block library into a region, and it shows up on the page here. You can also do that with the utility regions. You just drag the block over there, and it shows up in that utility region. So that's essentially what the utility regions are and what regions are in general. What were the other things you asked about?
Inline. What
Inline.
does inline mean?
Yeah, so inline is essentially where in the article itself, you have the opportunity to drag for example, a photo inside of the article, in line in the article. And we actually have a couple of different utility regions that will also show up inside of the article, on the top of the article and at the bottom of the article. And you can use those to show additional ad spots or additional content promotion, and they'll show up again within the context of the article page.
Okay, and block ads.
So block ads is essentially what I was just doing here. Previously, in past iterations of Town News technology, we had fixed ad spots that you had to use our specific spots because that's the way it worked. With our new Flex templates, we have kind of liberated the ad spots and allowed you to make them draggable and droppable throughout the page. So in this particular case here, I've got a blocks ad. You can set all of the parameters that make that ad different that you need to set up through your network, either an ad manager network, Open Ad Stream, or DFP. And then essentially you can drag and drop that ad wherever you need to for your monetary plan. So if you want to have an ad underneath the headline here, you can just create an ad block, place that ad there, and it will generate the appropriate ad tags needed for the type of ad program that you use.
And that's just one example of the advantages of Flex templates. Do you want to talk briefly about why folks should switch to Flex if they're not already on Flex?
Absolutely. If you're not in Flex, you got to switch. That's the the main thing. We've been working on, so I'll start off by saying our Zen templates were developed in 2009, which is like 100 years ago. I didn't do the math, but it's like 100 years ago. At the time, there were no iPhones. That was just after iPhones, so it wasn't like that big of a deal. And we were getting no mobile traffic at the time from iPhones, things like that. So I understand that things have really, really, really changed since 2009. And essentially, our Flex templates are a new front-end system that we've put together the last couple of years. And we have been working on it for, I think it's about 3 years that we've launched it now. And it's very robust. It's very well put together. We've rewritten everything from scratch. And there's just a lot more revenue opportunities, a lot more SEO, a lot more mobile friendly. And there's a lot of reasons to look into Flex. So if you are not on Flex, I would make that your number one goal for 2017 is to move to Flex. And we can help you make a lot of additional revenue opportunities just because of using Flex templates as part of that setup process. So definitely something that if you're still on Zen, that's definitely something to look at.
This is kind of a big question given the amount of stuff we've covered today, but someone's wondering if we can share some websites that do a great job with some of these features.
I would say when we talked about that Blueprints for Success presentation that our sales team put together, they actually have a couple slides on there that goes through the specific sites that they've seen be successful with a lot of these opportunities. So that's a great question. I would say that, yeah, ask your salesperson and they can help you either put together that presentation or they can even just share you, I assume they could share that page. So yeah, they do have a list of those things. And we really appreciate, if you've seen your site in this presentation, for example, we really appreciate, sharing with us your ideas. If you have other ideas that you didn't see here today that you would like to share with your Town News family, please let us know. We'd love to hear that. We'd love to do blog posts about our customer success. We're really interested in that.
If, Christine mentioned sharing ideas with other Town News users. Our community site is a great place to do that, our partner community, and that's at community.townnews.com. All of these features are documented at help.blockcms.com. If you need any assistance, please give us a call at 800-293-9576 or visit support.townnews.com. We have a brand new status site called townnews.status.io that can keep you abreast of all of the our systems and uptime and all of that kind of great stuff. And there's also a widget in the Blocks dashboard that displays real-time status, what's going on with our systems. So, but if you go to townnews.status.io, you can actually sign up to receive email or various notifications of any issues that we might be experiencing. You can follow us on Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. And you can sign up. We have a number of different email newsletters and email communications that you can sign up for by visiting townnews.com, clicking news, and on the right-hand side you'll see a block that allows you to sign up for our various email lists. And that, thank you very much, Christine. Really great stuff. We will do another webinar in February, and if you're on that webinars list, you'll receive a notification of that as well. But thank you very much, and again, everyone, I hope you have a great New Year, and let's get it started right.